through storms, unshaken, unbowed. Through trials and verdicts, still standing proud. A titan in the tempest, against the raging crowd. He's got a vision for the future, gonna shout it aloud. Changing the wind, it's coming fast. A new foundation built to last. Cryptocurrency's the key, make the big switch. Power to the people, time to teach the rich. Legal battles can't hold him, he's moving on. With plans so bold, from dusk till dawn. He's rewriting the rules, a new dawn's day. From the hands of the few to the people's way. Say goodbye to all chains, embrace the new. A financial revolution, fair and true. For the workers, the dreamers, side by side. In Trump's new era, let freedom rise.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Crazy Cryptonaut channel. I am Zester, and I hope everyone is having an awesome Friday morning. Definitely been an exciting week in the crypto space, and so I'm excited to jump in and see everybody's questions. I imagine there's going to be a lot of questions today. There does always tend to be quite the rise in excitement around cryptocurrency whenever it does things like it has over the past couple of days in terms of the price increase, compliments of the Genius Act passing and on its way to President Trump's desk for final signature. And so let's say good morning. I'm certain there'll be questions along the way, and then we'll jump into talking about what happened this week and, what we can expect going into the future. Good morning, Mile High Trish, TGIF, absolutely. Good morning, Kukla. I hope you're having an awesome Friday. Morning there, Shannon Martin. Shannon Martin says XRP is going like the tide of the sea, like a roller coaster. It definitely is right now. Every time you refresh, you never know what you're going to end up seeing. Definitely is. And it's probably going to remain extremely volatile. Remember, guys, XRP broke an all-time high that it set back in 2018. 7 years, over 7 years. And that means that there is a lot of price exploration going on in the world of XRP at the moment. There are a lot of people who finally are back in the green after 7+ years of having held XRP. Expect there to be extreme volatility in the XRP price. Expect it to drop back below all-time high. It's definitely going to, if it hasn't already this morning, which I believe it already has, dropped back below that 2017 all-time high, and it probably will off and on for a couple of days, or unless we get some other crazy news. But we'll talk about that and look at what's happening in just a little bit. Good morning there, Crazy Chester. Crazy Chester, who just made $6 on Toshi. Nice. Mile High Trish says, now you're paying for lunch. Hey. Neil Brooks, good morning, Neil. Good morning. What's up, Captain Spiffy? Morning there, Christina. Gary Green, here we go with a question. Explain the significance of all three crypto bills passed this week. Gary, let me bring up some articles and such to make this a little bit easier as I go through. And so, what occurred during this week, and this is a very important point of clarification, is that only the Genius Act has passed both the Senate and the House. And so the Genius Act is actually on its way to Trump's desk. The Genius Act is what establishes the rules for stablecoins and for currencies that are pegged to reliable real-world assets. It's what creates the legal framework for us to have a currency backed by gold or backed by silver, backed by Treasury bonds, backed by US dollars. It creates that ability and that framework. And so that's why the Genius Act is such an exciting pass, because it's going to revolutionize the world of finance. It is the only one that has passed the House and the Senate. Now, we have two other bills. We have the Clarity Act. The Clarity Act has only passed the House. It still has to go to the Senate. There is likely going to be extreme opposition in the Senate. That bill's not going to make it out of the Senate in the same form that it went in as. And the Clarity Act is more establishing framework for things like decentralized finance, other cryptocurrencies that aren't pegged to a real world asset. So there's two of them. And keeping in mind that the Clarity Act still has to pass Senate. Then we have the anti-CBDC Act, Anti-Central Bank Digital Currency Act. This, same situation as Clarity, it has only passed the House. It still has to get through the Senate, and it's going to have to get through Mrs. Warren over there on Senate side, and she loves the idea of central bank digital currency, so expect extreme opposition in the Senate to the Anti-CBDC Act. But that's what it would do. It would outlaw central bank digital currencies forever in the United States, and make it to where the United States would then have to reverse this legislation before it could ever potentially put into form a central bank digital currency for the country. So there's the short and skinny version of the three bills that we're going through the House this week. Remember, we're going to expect the Clarity Act and the Anti-CBDC Act to be discussed in the Senate, and whenever the Senate decides to get around to it. The major win of the week was the Genius Act passing, because expectations are 199.999% that Trump is going to sign this bill. Absolutely. Good. Well, good afternoon to you, Rocker Mom. I always forget that it's different times all around the place. So good afternoon to you. D. Rambo, good morning, Zester. I finally have my Nano Ledger and have my Ledger Live app on my phone. So perfect timing for some cues I have today before setting it all up. All right. Glad that we timed it out perfectly. Hey, well, good morning there, Deborah. Kukla. Hi to Tina, Tino, and Tommy. They appreciate it. I'm certain they're busy being lazy, taking a nap somewhere around the house. Crypto Warden, good morning all. What a huge crypto week and a lot more to come. There definitely is. And there is some other crypto news that came out in just the past 24 hours directly from Trump himself, and an expected executive order that's going to be coming down the pipeline soon. Of course, until Trump actually comes out and does it, we can't be certain if it's just a rumor, but the rumor's coming from some pretty high-level people. And let's actually jump over real quick and then check that one out, just so that everybody already knows what all has been some recent news. Trump eyes executive order to open up retirement funds to crypto. This would not be as a matter of crypto week. This would be an executive order. But this executive order that is being rumored would actually start the process of allowing for people to take 401ks and invest them into things like cryptocurrencies. It actually specifies here the new 401k investment options could run a broad spectrum of assets, including digital assets, metals, and funds focused on infrastructure deals, corporate takeovers, and private loans. And so this is another little thing that wasn't a part of Crypto Week, but another expectation we have now is that very soon Trump's executive order is going to come in, and it's going to start pushing 401k money and retirement funds towards cryptocurrency and precious metals. And of course, there's already been ways to invest in precious metals with 401ks for a very long time, but I'm not certain. I'm imagining what he means, or what they're saying is that it's going to make it far simpler and allow for it in more of a traditional 401k structure. But we will have to see exactly what the details end up being on that one. The major one is cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency itself was not an option. And what it seems like with all of these specified sectors, these are self-custodian assets. These are things that you could take physical ownership of, whether that be cryptocurrency, metals, or the like. So we're going to have to see on that front. That is really unconfirmed at this point in time. Awesome. Please do remember, thank you, Kukla, for making certain that I get this one. Please do remember that Zach Zester is not a financial professional. The content in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes and is not intended to provide financial advice. please consult with a financial professional before making investment decisions. A very important one. Not a fun one to have to read every stream, but an important one indeed. Musical Lady, I'm absolutely pumped up today of all the great wins yesterday. Absolutely. Same Musical Lady. I have been slammed busy this week, but it's been a very, very good, and I've been in a happy mood throughout it. Country Chick, your video helps me move my crypto to my ledger X Nano. Thank you. So happy to help, Country Chick. Super happy. Musical Lady, anyone have an idea when the Senate will vote on the Clarity Act? Because of them going for break very soon, Musical Lady, the last that I had seen was expectations where we're not going to see that in front of the Senate for a while. But things can always happen. But a lot of expectations that the Clarity Act is going to have a very hard time passing the Senate. The Senate, remember, the Senate is where we've got a lot tighter in terms of the cryptocurrency debate on the form of Clarity Act and CBDC. Half the Democrats essentially came over to the Republican side when it came to the Genius Act in both the Senate and the House. There was bipartisan support for the Genius Stablecoin Act because, well, it's a slam dunk as a U.S. As a U.S. lawmaker. You're essentially creating this giant industry that is going to stockpile U.S. treasuries, U.S. dollars, or different precious metals in U.S. banks. And so really the Democrats couldn't fight against the Genius Act. It was just too big of a slam dunk. It would have looked way too stupid for them politically. And so most Democrats supported it. The Clarity Act and the Anti-CBDC Act, these get into the weeds. These are not as cut and dry for the Democrats, and they're not going to be helpful. And so I would caution against too much optimism on Clarity and Anti-CBDC. I hope that they go quickly, but I would not count on it to be particularly fast, considering the Democrats are going to oppose those at every single obstacle they can. It'll be interesting to see which ones jump onto our side. I'm certain that there will be some Democrats that will move over and support both of the bills, but there's also going to be some Republicans who are going to oppose them. It's going to be very interesting. The huge win, though, and probably the biggest deal in terms of pushing crypto development forward was the Genius Act, and that passed. So, D. Rambo, question 1, Zester, will my Ledger Nano plus 24-word recovery password be given to me when I set it up on Ledger Live? Yes. D. Rambo, you do not make up your 24 words. Your 24 words are randomly generated at that point in time, and then they are locked in. And so those are your secret phrase, your secret words. People use a million different terms for this. There are 24 of them if you're setting up a ledger. There could be 12 of them if you have a different wallet. Just means it's a matter of the encryption factor of the wallet. But Ledger is 24, which is the most. And you just need to make certain, D. Rambo, that you write those things down and write them down in the right order. I did talk to somebody, and I don't know what they were doing, but for some reason it listed 1 through 24, and they just started jumbling the words up. Don't do that. Remember, these have to be in order. And so it is 1 through 24. Write the number next to them. Keep them in order. But D. Rambo, you don't have to worry. It's going to feed you the answers. All right. Deborah Muse-Wolf, QQ, Lynette saying is considering stablecoins similar to CBDCs and government oversight / control. Your thoughts? Deborah Muse-Wolf, stablecoins and central bank digital currencies. Essentially, there's one major difference. A central bank digital currency is controlled entirely and exclusively by the central bank of said country. Whereas when you talk about stablecoins in this sense, they are being backed up primarily by assets that are held inside of the United States. And so it's very much US centric, but it's not being directly controlled by the central bank. And so, Deborah, I think that might be a little bit of an over worrying on it, maybe from Lynette, but I would need to listen to her worries. And so I don't want to cast any aspersions. I would want to listen to what Lynette's thoughts are on it before I make any any calls on that one, or I have any opinions. And so, Deborah, I'd be very interested in seeing Lynette talk about it and kind of seeing what her concerns are about stable coins. I would be very curious because I have a set of concerns based around stable coins and where this is going to go in the future as well. There is definitely somewhat of a worry that stable coins, depending upon what they're backed up with, could be manipulated to a fairly substantial degree. And that's why I think the most exciting part of the Genius Act is not necessarily the stable coins that are pegged to different dollar currencies, different fiat currencies. It's the idea of having currencies that are pegged to precious metals or to other physically valuable commodities. That's what I'm more excited about with the Genius Act. But I will definitely check that one out, Deborah. Be happy to. Phil B, question: if I leave some crypto on Coinbase, should I set up their wallet or just leave it on exchange? I do have a majority of the good coins on Ledger. Phil B, I would highly recommend leaving it on the exchange. The Coinbase wallet is janky. That thing is weird. I've always had problems with it. People have had problems with it. Some folks have never had an issue with it. I personally avoid that Coinbase wallet. Keep it on the Coinbase exchange. The Coinbase exchange, and that's the company and the entity that's moving towards banking regulations in terms of how they operate. And so I have never worried about keeping small amounts of money or crypto in Coinbase. I've had a Coinbase account for many, many years. I keep small amounts of things over there, and I don't worry about it. I worry about keeping my retirement fund is not on Coinbase. It's on my Ledger. But the couple $100 that I'm planning on buying crypto with, or that I'm doing something with, or I'm moving around, I leave it sitting right over there on Coinbase, and I don't worry about it in the slightest. Matter of fact, I've even got Coinbase pulled up for today in case I needed to show anyone anything. I've had I got $120 sitting in my Coinbase account, and I think I've had those same cryptos sitting there for a year and a half or so now. And so I really do not worry all that much about smaller amounts being in Coinbase. This just means that they're ready to use. If I needed to go ahead and buy something, or I wanted to move something over, I have already got a little bit of chump change sitting around in Coinbase. I can quickly deploy that capital. So no, would not be worried, Phil, if it's a small amount. If it's all of your crypto and you're just keeping all of it on Coinbase, yes, I would be worried. I would start to think that, you're missing out on one of the real key steps towards this financial revolution, and that is self-custody of your assets, and especially in crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. So just keep that one in mind. But I think you've got the exact right idea, Phil, because you're keeping the vast majority in your Fort Knox, and you're keeping a little bit of chump change, in the casino in case you wanted to buy something or move it around, or it's just not enough to worry about. It'll still be there when you come back. Susan B, question: with the idea that there will probably be a crash before it really takes off, do you think we should move everything to a cold wallet to keep it safe? Susan B, that's actually one of the real good reasons for why you would potentially want to store the large portion of your crypto over there, is because, yes, at some point we will have a crypto crash again. It's going to happen again. Markets always do. Whether it's stock markets, whether it's any financial market, it will eventually crash. And when it crashes, some companies will go out of business. And it would really suck to have your money sitting in one of the accounts with one of the companies that does go out of business, and you potentially, look at the FTX people. The people who had their money in FTX, they didn't do anything wrong. FTX collapses. Their money gets locked up in all of these different lawsuits, et cetera, and they wait years to get their money back, if they ever get it back at all. And so those are really the bigger worries with the U.S. exchanges, or the official exchanges. It's really, does something terrible happen and you end up getting trapped in the crossfire? And so, Susan B, I do expect that at some point in time we're going to have a crypto crash. And yes, certain companies won't make it out of it, and you don't want to have your money sitting with those companies when it occurs. If your money is sitting on your hardware wallet, you're safe. You don't have to worry about it. The only person that can mess that one up is you physically with the device, and as long as you follow the rules, you don't have anything. All right, DRambo. Question 2. Did I read correctly that I can use a USB-A to USB-C digital card to transfer from my Ledger Live app to Nano S Plus? So, well, DRambo, one important thing here is that we're not transferring anything. Ledger Live is just your tool chest. It's your UI. It does not have your crypto. Your crypto is not in Ledger Live. Your crypto is not on your hardware wallet. The keys to your crypto are on your hardware wallet. Your cryptocurrency never leaves the blockchain. It never leaves. You are just the only one who can access that crypto. And so, DRambo, you can use one of those adapter cords to plug your Ledger into your phone and then use Ledger Live on your phone in order to interact with your Ledger, in order to sign transactions, in order to make purchases. But you're not transferring it back and forth. And so, DRambo, essentially, yes, you can power your Ledger, your Ledger Nano S Plus through your phone using an adapter cord. Mile High Trish is our community specialist on this front. And so, DRambo, on that one, Mile High Trish is the pro. She uses one of those cords in order to connect her Ledger to her phone. So I would definitely, I'll be looking to highlight Mile High Trish's comment if I see anything there. She might have a better explanation for you. Musical Lady Trump is having a law signing ceremony for the Genius Act this afternoon. Yeah, absolutely. Woo! That one's going to be exciting. DRambo, I would say there you can send emails, but ultimately, when markets go like this, nobody gets tax time. And that's just because my phone is literally, I've had to turn it off. Ever since, and whenever crypto prices start to go up, Zester turns into the prettiest girl at every high school on the entire planet type deal. The prettiest girl at the prom, whatever it is, you would use as an analogy. And so, unfortunately, you can send me things. I don't know if I will ever even see them. And that's why these streams are so important, because these are the opportunities when the market is going nuts like this. It's too late to be learning how to do things. We've got to learn how to do these things before now if we need something to go really nuts. But DRambo, I would not be worried, and we'll have time. I'm happy to help. And so I don't know if I'll be able to today, but please still send the email. I will do my best to try and get you an answer today, but I would warn you, I may not get back to you today. And my apologies ahead of time to everybody who's in a similar situation, that I am trying my best, but ultimately, I can't even get through the amount of text messages that I have coming in. And that's just what happens when crypto explodes. There's always a lot of questions coming. So hopefully I can. Gary 7, can we buy stocks and bonds with crypto? Well, Gary, we're starting to be able to. We're seeing the tokenization of stocks. Robinhood actually has started tokenizing U.S. stock companies, U.S. stocks, and then selling them in Europe. And so very soon, Gary, I expect we're going to be. Very, very soon, I expect we're going to be. Neil Brooks, Esther, why do I keep hearing that I shouldn't use a cold wallet because the exchange could lock me out? Neil Brooks, there's always been a general fear that at some point, exchanges will try to bring everything in. They can't legally do that, Neil. And remember, there's a lot of ponies in the race. And so ultimately, it would be very bad business for Coinbase to lock you out, because if Coinbase locks you out, you're just going to go to Kraken, and Kraken's going to get your business. If Kraken locks you out, you're going to go to Gemini, and Gemini is going to get your business. And so I'm not too worried about them locking it out. Neil, what I would be concerned about is if there is in any way, and so say Neil, that the IRS sends you a letter come tax season, and they say, hey, we think you have crypto that you haven't paid taxes on. I would expect in the near future that the IRS is going to start flagging those crypto wallets, and it's going to start telling exchanges that, hey, if this guy shows up with money, make certain and ask him about whether he's going to pay us our taxes or not first. I wouldn't be surprised if things like that start to occur, Neil, but I would not be too worried. Plus, there are always other ways because when it's on your hardware wallet, you can now start participating in decentralized finance. And so the last thing the centralized exchanges want to do is push you to decentralized finance, because if they push you to decentralized finance, they're probably not going to get you back. So I wouldn't be too worried, Neil, but I would keep in mind that, yes, it is possible. It is possible that you could get kicked off of a centralized exchange. D Rambo, which Zester video helped move crypto from hot wallet to cold ledger wallet? Actually, D Rambo, let me get you those. Because, all right, I'm on my way. Okay, D Rambo. All right, D Rambo, down here on this one, we've got the Lobster. Did you know Lobster wallet tutorial and review, and then Uphold wallet tutorial and review. And then I actually remember, and this one's harder to find because it's in the live section and you got to go way back. But I did a very long one on specifically Coinbase. And so, Coinbase and Ledger hardware wallet tutorial for beginners here, and a longer stream format specifically for Coinbase. And then on the recorded videos, those both show how to move things back and forth to a Ledger hardware wallet and to set up accounts and things of that nature. I would say, though, D Rambo, there are also some tutorial videos from Ledger that will be able to help you also. So should be some. All right. I'm going to have to catch up with chat, guys. Sorry, I'm maybe missing a few questions along the way, but I don't want to get too far behind keeping up with chat this morning. All right. Sorry, I am scrolling. Country Chick, should I take all XRP off Uphold or leave one on there and the rest on my ledger? Country Chick, the biggest thing essentially that I say is you keep the lion's share over on your ledger. Ultimately, though, Country Chick, you still want your Uphold account. And so Uphold is still a useful service. I wouldn't be worried about keeping a couple XRP in your Uphold account and then using it whenever you need to. The big thing here is essentially to just keep in mind and keep conscious that our hardware wallet is for where we're storing the bulk or the long term. If it's short term, if you're planning on selling it in a week, if you're planning on trading it to something else in a couple of days, if you're planning on buying something with it, just leave it on the exchange and don't worry about it. This is the difference between same ideas here. Think about it that way. When you've got too much money in your wallet that you need to go to the bank and you need to deposit it, think about it that way. Your Uphold account, your Coinbase account, it's another easy way to kind of think about, when do I need to move to the hardware wallet? Well, I need to move when it's starting to seem like I've got a silly amount of money that I'm walking around with on a daily basis. That would be another way of kind of making that judgment on an individual level. All right. Savvy. So like a safety block, ledger is your key. Savvy. So like a safety deposit box on the blockchain and the ledger is your key. Is that a correct analogy? Savvy, that would be a great analogy for it. Essentially, your crypto is on the blockchain. But what you have is you have a safety deposit box on the blockchain that only this opens. Nothing else opens it. No one else can open it. No other device can open it. And when I mean device, no other wallet. I am using this as kind of this is a physical representation of the code. And so in that regard, the person with those 24 words is the only person with the key to that safety deposit box. The bank doesn't have a key. The blockchain doesn't have a key. Nobody has a key. The key only exists with you in those 24 words. And so that would be a great way of looking at it. That would be a great way to look at it. H. Hunter, my parents bought several cryptos through Coinbase, never transferred to their ledger, and now Coinbase says they have nothing in their account. now worth about $15,000. Are you hireable to help? H Hunter, I am. Definitely send an email along to the email that's in the description. You'll be able to see in the description of the video, there'll be a link tree. If you click on that, you'll have emails. You'll have all kinds of ways to contact and talk to me. Definitely send that one along, H Hunter. And please do send along some information so that I might be able to answer it quickly. Or it may be particularly in depth. We'll just have to see. Just sharing, Zester, where would you suggest to purchase XRP? I would purchase on either Uphold or Coinbase. I purchase typically on Coinbase, but if you have an Uphold account, buy there. The only place that I tell people do not buy it is do not buy it on Lobster. Do not buy XRP on Lobster. Please don't do it. Please don't. Please don't. Buy it on Uphold. Buy it on Coinbase. Buy it on Kraken. Buy it on Gemini. Buy it from some random guy on the side of the road. Buy it from anybody before you buy it from Lobster. Just because so many people get stuck on Lobster and then it becomes such a pain to get it moved off for everybody. There's a lot of people whose money is stuck somewhere in the Lobster ether. All right. All right. Amy B, QQQ, still learning crypto. What do you use the words for? And is there a way to look them back up? I wrote them down, but didn't write down which app it's for. It's either Coinbase or Lobster. And so Amy B, if you have those words, here's the great thing. You can put them into anything. You can put them into any wallet service. If you have 12 words, you could come on over here and you could open up a MetaMask wallet and you could be like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and put my wallet right on here. Those 12 words are not locked to any specific service. Those 12 words, 16 words, 24 words, however many words you got. If it's your mnemonic seed phrase, if it is the wallet that you own, you can take those words and put them anywhere. And so the great thing, Amy, is that you don't have to panic about that. You're fine. It'll be okay. It probably would be nice to remember where this account was set up at and things of that nature. But if it's a wallet and you have down 12 words, 16 words, 24 words, it is a self-custodial wallet. You should be able to then take this and put it into another wallet service and be able to access your account. All right. Yeah, Musical Lady, we're seeing now crypto being considered for mortgages. That was in the news this week. Absolutely. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were instructed by the United States government to start considering those as collateral assets, as money in terms of mortgages. And so it is continuing. So D Rambo, follow up on question 2, Zesterman. Does that mean I should have the cord connected while making my purchase on Ledger Live? D Rambo, you will have to have the cord connected whenever you are sending a transaction from your ledger to somewhere else. And so also to view your accounts and to view your wallet address, you will need to be connected. To view your accounts, to view what's in your ledger, you won't need to connect to your phone. You'll be able to just open up Ledger Live on your phone and go through and look and see how you're doing that day. But you won't be able to send any of that crypto unless you connect your device. And so that's part of the just general security features of a hardware wallet. You're allowed to see what's in it without actually being able to move what's in it. Savvy, how can they tax you on your own funds? This replacing fiat. Savvy, the things that they're going to be upset about and that the government is going to really, really, really want to get access to is they're going to want to get access to a lot of the different massive profits that people have acquired over the past years on their capital gain side. And so people who purchased Bitcoin for, 50,000 and then it went up to 100,000 and they sold. Well, they made $50,000 per Bitcoin that they purchased. The IRS wants their cut. And the people that try to hide that, some I think are going to get away with it, all hunky-dory, scot-free. But the IRS is going to try to make some extreme examples out of some folks because they're going to want to scare the average crypto investor into ponying up and just handing the money over. And so we'll have to see, Savvy, in all honesty. Keep in mind, with these type of things, we are at the cusp of a new financial system. We're in the new financial system. And so that means that a lot of these things, they're going to have to see how they hammer out and work as we move forward. Some of these may not work out exactly the way we expect. Some may end up being in exactly the way we expected. Yeah. No, definitely there. If you can help him out there, Mile High Trish, just make certain, everybody, that if you're talking to somebody, you verify that it's the proper person. Yes, Musical Lady. I did see this week at White House press briefing that Trump is considering a no capital gains tax of small transactions of $600, which is a great start. Absolutely. That would make a really big difference for about 90%, 99% of the transactions out there have been small. Most of the time, the transactions are fairly small. That would clarify and simplify the entire process massively. Rocker Mom, I was looking at the Ledger Nano wallets on Amazon yesterday. Are different types? What are the differences? Rocker Mom, first things first, I highly recommend to never buy a hardware wallet through an Amazon, a Walmart, a Best Buy, an eBay for certain. Buy it from the manufacturer. And so that would be just the first thing, Rocker Mom. I do have a discount code that'll send you to the right link and the right company. That's in my link tree in the description. But second, the different Ledger Nanos. And so what they are, Rocker Mom, is the more expensive ones have Bluetooth and batteries and big screens that you can see everything on. And they're very easy for using on the go. You can connect them to your phone without a cord, et cetera. They have more functionality. They have Bluetooth, so they connect without a cord, and they have a battery, so that they can be used, you can charge it and take it out and go do things. And a big screen, so that you can see what you're doing a little bit easier. Now, they are much more expensive, but I use the Nano S Pluses because they only connect to the computer. They do not have Bluetooth, and they do not have a battery. They are cheaper. They are simpler. They have a smaller screen, but they do everything that I need. I only need to be able to access my crypto, move it back and forth to my ledger. I don't sit around, and I don't need it to be the size of a Game Boy. And also, I do all my crypto work on the computer. And so for me, the Nano S Plus is perfect. It's the cheapest, the simplest. It does everything that I need it to do. Exactly. And so Rocker Mom, that's kind of where it is. The more expensive, the more bells and whistles. What essentially I would say, though, is if you're getting a new one, at minimum, get the Nano S Plus, not the Nano S, because it's getting phased out. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it, but if you're a new consumer, a new customer, you probably want to go ahead and up the ante a little bit. But so, yes, Rocker Mom, that would be the difference. So you've got the Nano S Plus, which is what I typically use. It only really works easiest plugged in. So you have to plug it into the computer. You have to plug it into your phone with an adapter cord. Nano X is one step above that. I think it's somewhere around $150. It's got a little screen. It's a little bit easier to use. It's got Bluetooth and a battery. You can connect it directly to your phone. And then we go to the Ledger Stacks and the Ledger Flex. Those things are hundreds and hundreds of bucks a piece, but they got a big old screen. You could watch a DVD on these things. And they have the same Bluetooth functionality and extra memory and stuff like that. All right, so it really does come down, Rocker Mom. Sorry about my explanation there, because it really comes down a lot to personal factors. Susan Savannah, does Uphold require you to hold a certain amount of crypto/money on the account to keep it open? Susan, no, I do not believe so. I have an Uphold account that's got like 30 cents in there. It has for a couple of years, and they've never told me anything about it. And I've never really kept more than like $20 in my Uphold account ever. And so I don't think you'll have any issue there. All right. Kat Reinhardt, when I first started, I put XLM on Coinbase wallet. I just put them there, never heard it was a lot for me. I messed them. They won't help me get them back. I have no one around that has crypto. What can I do? Kat, you're going to need to go through and see if you wrote down your words. If you wrote down your secret words, maybe it's accessible. A lot of people have had this issue with Coinbase Wallet because Coinbase Wallet has a multitude of different cryptos that you could hold in it, which means it just gets more confusing. And so, Kat, you can definitely send an email, but unfortunately, Coinbase Wallet is different than Coinbase. And so this might be a good point for folks. Coinbase Wallet is a decentralized wallet service. You are the one who has the keys to your wallet. That's what Coinbase Wallet is. Coinbase has no control over Coinbase Wallet. Coinbase, the company, the exchange is what I'm in right over here. So this is the Coinbase exchange. I am on the Coinbase exchange. I can advance to advanced trading, which is where I prefer to be. I can go through and I can do my trades across a variety of different crypto pairings, all kinds of stuff. They'd love to see my new tax. They'd love to tell to me about new tax regulations, all of that. This is a centralized exchange, Kat. And so on this centralized exchange, if you were to have an issue, you can call Coinbase and they got to fix it. Coinbase Wallet is a little different. It's a self-custodian wallet. It's not controlled in that same way by Coinbase. And so Coinbase can't really help. The biggest thing here, Kat, is going to be finding your words and your passcodes. That's going to be the biggest thing we can do in order to be able to see if we can get your XLM back, Kat. And Deborah Muse Wolf, and going back to that analogy about the hardware wallet, and it exactly, Deborah Muse, and the safety deposit box is in your possession, not at the bank behind a locked door. Exactly. There's no time for funny business, and so this is your key to your safe deposit box on the blockchain. And the great part is there's no way to hide. There's no way for funny business to be going on because the vault is in your house. You're not going somewhere else to check into your security, your safe deposit box. You can be in your underwear, in your bathroom, or you could be in your panic room in the house. You could be on a beach in Fiji. You could be in the middle of the Sahara Desert, and your safe deposit box is sitting right there with you. Oh, and Kat, definitely go for the email. Shoot an email along, Kat. I'd be happy to help if I can. Mile High Trish, but how do you feel about lobsters, Esther? Oh, well, yeah. I feel like at this point that, it's like the courtroom where they're like, what did lobster do to you, Esther? What did lobster do to you? And it's me on the stand testifying. Patty Perry, does the U.S. Treasury have access to our cold wallet? I'm thinking no, but not sure. They do not have access to your cold wallet. Now, they could go out there and they could tell everybody to not do business with Patty. They could say, we don't like Patty, and this is her wallet, and we don't want you to do business with Patty. Government could definitely do that. That would take a lot of effort. But Patty, they could not ever get into that wallet and take it out unless they came and physically took it. They would have to physically take it from you in order to do so. And so, no, you do not have to worry about that. They can't get in. Susan Savannah, Ledger Live required me to put all 24 phrases in to verify my identity. I had not used my Nano X in a long time. I had to update and reboot everything. Is there anything to be worried about? Susan Savannah, here's just where I'm going to ask. Did you put your 24 words into the app, or did you put your 24 words into the ledger? If you put your 24 words into the ledger, we're okay. If you put your 24 words into the computer, we potentially have something to worry about because that's not how these things work. The words are only here. The words never get put onto the computer. You never put them onto Ledger Live. And so, Susan, don't go panicking right away, but I'm just curious that I've got a follow-up question, essentially, Susan. If you put the words in here and you just re-uploaded your wallet onto a Ledger device, on the Ledger X in this situation, nothing to worry about. Totally normal. Totally normal. If you put 24 words into anything on a computer or on your phone, that's not normal. And that's very, very weird. And your identity is not connected to Ledger. Ledger doesn't know who you are. And Ledger doesn't care. It's not a part of Ledger's business to know your identity. And so if Ledger ever asks you for any personal information, the answer is no. And that you're being scammed, because Ledger has never asked me for anything. Ledger does not know I'm an affiliate with Ledger, and Ledger does not know my name. They don't know who the heck I am. They don't know me from Adam. And so just keep that in mind, guys, as an overall safety example out there. Ledger Live, and your Ledger device, just keep these things in mind. Your 24 words, they are only ever to be inputted here. They are never to be inputted anywhere else. They are to be stored on a piece of paper somewhere very, very safe, or to be stored, carve it into a block of wood and store it somewhere. However you want to, you store your words. You never put those words into anything but a hardware wallet. All right, though, Susan. So now I'll be looking for that follow-up question on that one, and I got you. Amy B, I keep hearing of whales selling and causing drops. Being a small account, I'm worried that these whales will manipulate the crypto market like the whales manipulated the stock market. Amy B, that's always a concern, and the whales do. The rich people, they get to play by their own rules when it comes to markets. They have more of an influence on it. Amy, the great thing about cryptocurrency, though, in comparison to, say, the stock market and the stock market manipulation, that manipulation in the stock market is actually inherently built into the system. It's a fundamental, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Manipulating the stock market only for the wealthy is a feature of the stock market. It's designed to work that way. The blockchain is not. We all operate under the same rules in these cryptocurrencies. I follow the same rules that Bill Gates follows. Whereas in the stock market, that's not how it works. Bill Gates follows an entirely different rule set from poor old Zester over here when it comes to investing in the stock market or in any traditional financial institutions. He follows an entirely different rule set. Not even the same idea. With the kind of the evening of the playing field that we see with cryptocurrency, we're at least playing on an even field. And Amy, ultimately, you are always going to have people who have more, who own more. You're going to have the same thing in real estate. Some guy who owns more property or has more money is going to be able to buy all the houses in a neighborhood and drastically rise the value of property taxes in the neighborhood. He's always going to be able to do that, and it's always going to happen. And so to a degree, Amy, it is worrying because whales do tend to manipulate the market in their favor, naturally. But Amy, I don't overly worry about it. I worry about it less in crypto than I do in the stock market, I guess, is the short version of my answer. Sorry, Amy, I went on quite a rambling one. All right. And D Rambo, oh no, I bought mine from Best Buy yesterday. It was plastic sealed and said was new with tags saying designed in France, made in Hungary. I would not be worried, D Rambo. When you go to actually plug it in for the first time, it will do a check to see if it has been tampered with. And so, D Rambo, just make certain that when it does that check, that it says that there's no issue and you shouldn't have anything to worry about. But it will run a check. It's just one extra step that has to be done. And so that's where I tend to just say, let's skip the step in case we could, let's go through the normal outlets usually, and let's skip this step. But what you're going to need to do, D Rambo, is you're going to need to make certain and check. When it does the initial startup, it's going to say, plug in your Ledger device, and it's going to run a check on it. And so D Rambo, just pay attention when it runs that check. I wouldn't be too worried. You just need to check. All right. Message Gal, do you have a video showing how to transfer Bitcoin from my DeFi wallet to Uphold? I need to cash in a little for USD. Okay. And so I don't know what wallet you have your Bitcoin on. I do have videos that show moving crypto from a software, a hot wallet, to something like Uphold. And so, I mean, heck, I could even literally show you in real time. I mean, all you would do, and so here's MetaMask. MetaMask is a software, a DeFi wallet, Massage Gal. It's a DeFi wallet. You probably have a different one, but this is the one I have. And so all I would do, Message Gal, is I would come on over. And so in this case, I'm on Coinbase, but Uphold works the same exact way. I'm going to say I want to deposit. I want to deposit crypto. And in this case, I want to deposit Bitcoin. I'm going to click on this. And I am then going to, well, let's see where, okay, Bitcoin. I'm going to use the Bitcoin network because my Bitcoin, assumingly, is on the Bitcoin network. It's going to give me a warning. Make certain that I use the proper crypto on the proper blockchain. And then it's going to give me the receive address. This address on your choice, it would be Uphold. You would get the receive Bitcoin address. And then all you're going to do is you're going to take that over to your wallet that has Bitcoin, which I don't even think that MetaMask doesn't even have Bitcoin on there. But you would go to your DeFi wallet, which I'm assuming you have a Bitcoin DeFi wallet. And then you are just going to click send. And you're going to take this that we got right over here. I'm going to take this password. I'm going to go over to my DeFi wallet. I'm going to go to send. And I am just going to paste that thing into the public address. Because it's Bitcoin, I don't need to worry about a memo or anything. I just need to make certain that this address right here, the one that's for my centralized exchange account, is the exact address that I paste into the to section when I'm sending it. And so, Massage Gal, I know that you're going to be looking at a slightly different screen because you have a Bitcoin DeFi wallet, but it's the exact same process. You are going to get your receive address from Uphold, and you are going to go to your DeFi wallet, and you are going to send to that receive address. Definitely, Massage Gal, first things first, send a very, very small test transaction, verify that it arrives. After that, you can then proceed forth with less caution. But maybe that one helped. Maybe I got you the answer there in real time. All right. Trying to catch up, guys. All right. Okay, and so the Susan Span, the Nano was plugged into the computer. So you put your words back into the Nano. Then you don't have anything to worry about, Susan. If you put your words into the Nano, and this is where you put the words, and when I mean put the words here, I mean you typed them on the Nano. Like you typed them on the Nano. You didn't type the words on a keyboard or on your phone. And so that's just what I mean. If you typed your words into your Nano X, or your Ledger X in this case, Susan, do not be worried. You did everything just fine. You're all good. It's exactly where it needs to be. Okay, common sense. On Coinbase, action required. Move your Web3 wallet assets now. I did that, and it's still giving the warning. Common sense, where is it saying this? Where is it saying this? Is it saying that on this? Is that warning here? Are you logged in to Coinbase and it's saying you need to move, you need to leave with ease? Or are you getting emails that are saying you need to move your Web3 wallet assets? Or is this Coinbase wallet that we're talking about ComSense and not Coinbase the exchange? Okay, blockchain DeFi. All right. Just make certain, Massage Girl, that if your Bitcoin is on the Bitcoin network, make certain what network your Bitcoin is on before you go sending. And that's why it gave that big warning when I was going to receive. That's why it gives this big warning right here. And so let me go back to that real quick just to point out to folks. See, deposit crypto. Let's go with Bitcoin. And then I chose the Bitcoin blockchain. I didn't choose Arbitrum or Ethereum, which supports CBDC, all these other versions of Bitcoin. I chose the OG Bitcoin. And that's why it then gives you a warning saying, make certain that you only send OG Bitcoin to this OG Bitcoin wallet address. So just make certain that you're on the correct one. Okay, common sense. When you open the app on for Coinbase wallet or Coinbase the exchange, but I think we're getting close. I think it's on your Coinbase exchange now, and that's odd. That's a very, very weird one, common sense. Which assets is it asking you to leave with? Oh, Amy B, thank you, Zester. I appreciate your knowledge and sharing this info with us. Absolutely my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. Doug G questions us, do you think XLM will go down again? I have a feeling because we're going to have a little bit of a correctional time period after having a lot of record breaking going on. And so I would, Doug G, I do think that we're going to see XLM and XRP have a little bit of a bouncy period. And so, yes, Doug, I am. Of course, I could be completely incorrect. XLM still does need to actually break its all-time high. And so actually, let me show everybody this real quick because I posted this actually on X last night. I posted it live the second that it happened. But XRP literally 13 hours ago established its new all-time high at $3.65. Now, XLM achieved its all-time high January 3rd, 2018, over 7 years ago at 87 cents. XLM achieved its all-time high literally at almost the exact same time that XRP did. And so XRP has managed to break that barrier. It has broke its record all-time high. XLM has not yet. And I do expect XLM to break its record all-time high. And so we may end up seeing a little bit of a difference here. XLM may have a little bit more upside short term. But ultimately, Doug, the biggest thing is that we're in an exploratory period with prices. And that means it's going to be volatile. And I cannot in any way really predict which direction we're going to go. The only thing I'm certain of, Doug, is it's going to go up or it's going to go down. It's not going to stay stagnant because we're in an exploratory period. We have new prices. We've never been here before. And that means the market has not established a baseline. And until we start establishing some baselines on like Bitcoin is at all new all-time highs. We need a baseline for what the price of Bitcoin is. We need a baseline for what the price of XRP is. And the same thing is occurring with the other cryptos. And so until we start to get a little bit more normalcy in the market, volatility is going to be the name of the game. It is going to be. Lisa Lee, what are the other places besides Coinbase that I can buy? Lisa Lee, you can buy on Kraken or Gemini or Uphold. You can buy directly through your ledger. You can buy directly through your ledger. You know, actually, if you have a ledger, you can go over and you can literally click buy. Now, with this, though, it's going to be different, Lisa. You're going to be buying with a credit or debit card as opposed to buying with a bank account. Fees are going to be much higher, but you can. You know, I can. All right, I'm going to buy $1,600 of Bitcoin. It's going to deposit directly into Zester's BTC wallet, and here you go. I am going to pay, in order to have this service, I would end up paying a $78 fine or fee in order to make a $1,600 investment. It's much more expensive, but it's much simpler. But so, Lisa Lee, you do have a lot of different places that you can. You can buy directly through your ledger. You can, buy directly through Coinbase. You can buy directly through Uphold. You can buy through, Kraken Gemini. I would not be worried. The only one, remember, guys, where do we not buy crypto? Lobster. That's the only one that I have a personal vendetta against. That is the only one. All right. Is the XLM Stellar Lumens? D Rambo asks, is the XLM Stellar Lumens XLM that we want? That is the Stellar. Is Stellar Lumens or token ticker symbol XLM. It is available on Coinbase, Uphold, pretty much all the services, as is XRP. All right, guys. All right. I'm enjoying all the questions. It's fun when it's all rapid fire like this. We're getting a lot of answers out there. We are getting a lot of answers out there. All right. All right. I see a question here, and I guess I'll answer it. Missy Ellen, what platform would you suggest joining if you want to learn leverage trading with crypto? Missy Ellen, there are a variety of different platforms that offer leverage trading. Most of them now in the United States are starting to limit leverage trading to people who have a certain amount of money in their wallets or things of that nature. So, just kind of starting to limit it a little bit. But Missy Ellen, I believe that we've even started to see derivative trading on we've seen future and derivative trading on Coinbase. I honestly, though, off the top of my head, Missy Ellen, I don't really know the best one for you right now to be learning, as I'm assuming a U.S. citizen. If you're not a U.S. citizen, there's KuCoin. There's a lot of different exchanges that offer leverage trading very, very simply. I believe crypto.com offers some leverage trading at this point in time. Missy Ellen, I would need to do a little research to give you a better pointer for the right direction. But Missy Ellen, what I would say right off the top is that it's probably very, very, you need to be very, very cautious if you're getting into leverage trading, because the cost of being wrong is all of your money. In leverage trading, liquidations are what can occur. And if you had $1,000 that you were investing with, and you had a full liquidation of your account, you are going to go from having $1,000 to having $0. But flip side, if you were to make the perfect bet, well, you would end up making disproportionately more than you would have if you had invested your $1,000 unleveraged. And so I would just be very cautious, but I will look for a better answer, Missy Ellen, on that one. And so come back on Monday, Missy Ellen, and I'll see if I can't send you towards some educational material, not some exchanges, some educational material for you to start looking through so that you can just start learning how leverage trading works in the crypto space. Maxwell, XRP, rocket ship, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Musical lady, no, I love lobster the crustacean for food. I'm a big, big fan of eating lobster. That's for certain. Huge fan. My D Rambo, is buying crypto pretty easy on Ledger Live? It really is pretty darn easy, D Rambo. Right over here, you literally choose which service. I've used MoonPay before, but MoonPay is trying to charge $90 to make this happen. But you literally just follow the process. And then it deposits the crypto directly in to your actual Ledger wallet. I would keep in mind, guys, when you're doing that, you are placing your name on your Ledger hardware wallet. You're making it very clear that this is D Rambo's wallet, but it is what it is. There's no way they're going to be able to track all of this without one heck of a lot of effort and one heck of a lot of new technology. So with all of that, guys, well, we have gotten through our hour or so. I will say, guys, I am actually headed over to Mike Barra on Rumble in 26 minutes. I will be jumping on to talk crypto with Mike Barra. And so if there are any questions that I have not answered or anything of that nature, you will be able to find me in just a matter of 20 some minutes. You will be able to find me over on Rumble. And so if anybody does have questions that I didn't get to answer or anything of that nature, well, come on over. Come on over, because there'll be an extra chance today in order to ask more questions. And so if you do, I will see you over there in just a couple minutes. And I'm certain Mike would be appreciative of having you come over and say hello to him also. So thank you guys all so much. Love you all. Please do send along emails and questions. I'm going to do my best to get back to you. I'm very sorry that I can't be faster about it. Things really blow up. I'm trying to get through the phone at the moment. But please do send along those. Come on over to Mike Barra in 20 minutes if you want to ask a few more questions live. And then, of course, love you all. And I will be back again here on the Crazy Cryptonaut channel on Monday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace, guys.